Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joined today from the Department of Ag, Trade, and Consumer Protection right here in southern Wisconsin. And he serves all of Wisconsin. It's Michael. Welcome back. How are you doing today?
Doing great, Jeremy. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming back. And today we're going to talk about I was going to say snowing your storing your snowing or snow equipment all summer long. A lot of people have what they would call the toys, the snowmobiles, the whatever winter equipment. And as things start to wrap up, they're switching over to the boats or whatever else they're doing. But as we're getting ready to put away these things, we're looking for places to store these things. And we got to really think twice before we do that. So today you're here to help us think through some of this stuff as we prepare for those transitioning, if you will. But first and foremost, finding the licensed companies are so important. Tell us why.
Well, I think that very few people in Wisconsin even realize that public warehouses and those storage facilities are licensed, and that there is some protections that they offer if they find a licensed facility. And so the one thing you want to look at is, do they have a license posted? Are they registered? Wisconsin law requires them to put that up. But the key benefit well, actually two key benefits to it. The first is any licensed facility needs to go under an inspection by our department, and we'll make sure that that facility is suitable for what they're going to be storing, or that those grounds, they have enough space for how many units they want to be storing. But then also, those types of facilities are required to hold a bond or some type of insurance. And that protects the consumer if they're putting something there and that storage facility fails to do what they're supposed to. It gives them that added level of protection that they may not get someplace else.
What are some of the common complaints that you would receive from some of these folks? So is it that they find out that a fire happened or there was damage and they're in trouble, or where do you see the complaints come in?
Well, some complaint, I would say, if they were requiring a deposit, they may not get their deposits back, or they're being charged more than what they're supposed to be. The facility itself is usually okay. If you have break-ins and things like that, that's usually outside the contract and what the storage is. But most often it comes down to the paperwork, the contract, the terms, conditions, things like that.
And that's where I'll take my next line of questioning here from here on out is how to go through that contract and some of the things that you should look for as you are going through no matter what type of contract it is. You got to read these over, and if you have questions, you should get them answered.
You're right. The last comment you just said there is the most important one. Oftentimes when we're reading contracts, we're either rushed, or we don't want to look stupid, or we don't want to ask questions to make it look like they might be able to take advantage of us. And that's just not the case. You need to feel comfortable in what you sign. And so if you read something, whether it's in there and you don't agree with it, ask the questions before you put your name on the paper. So the couple things that I would look at is make sure the amount that you're being quoted for the monthly fees, or if it's seasonal, whatever it is accurately depicted on the contract. It's even human error could be putting an extra digit or extra period, and that makes a big difference. Also understanding the length of when that your terms and contracts for the storage. So maybe you just want it for the season. Well, make sure that that contract reflects it's only for a few months, or how is it going to auto renew? Does it automatically renew after that end of the 3 months? You need to make sure you understand all those things so you don't end up paying for a facility you don't need.
If you do get into a contract conflict, so you're trying to get out early, whatever the case may be, what do you recommend first? So if you're like, oh man, I just don't know what to do here. This contract, something's wrong here. And, do I go and talk to him first? Do I pull a lawyer? Do I come to you guys? Like, what would you guys recommend to get the ball rolling?
I always recommend going to the business first and just having that conversation with them. We always have to remember that they're in business. And so customer service is a priority for most of them. And they want to make sure that they maintain that reputable business acumen. So it also, as we recognize, one bad experience can spread like wildfire. And so there is a motivation for businesses to help make it right. If that doesn't work out, even before consulting an attorney, maybe spending that money, I would say contact us and give us a chance to help you out. File a complaint, explain what happened, give us the supporting documents, and then we'll try and mediate between the consumer and the facility to see if we can get that resolved for them.
Yeah, and how about documenting too? So whether you're getting into a contract or getting out of a contract, everything closes. When it comes to documenting, what are some of those key documents that you want to have on hand during any part of getting a contract, regardless if it's storing equipment to anything?
Well, the key, obviously, the contract, you're going to want a copy of that, but also keep a timeline of the conversations you've had and what the content is, both leading up to the contract and afterwards, because the law differs on what representations are made before you sign and after you sign. So the timeline is key, what was promised, and also if you have any advertisements, if you said, hey, I chose this facility because they were representing, X amount of dollars per month, and when I got there, they weren't honoring that. Those are important documents for us to have as well.
Yeah, and I just see there's so many different storage places that are popping up. There's some are heated, some are not heated. Spaces, security. Oh my gosh, I think there's a lot of things that you want to review before you choose wherever you're going to put this stuff. So do your research. If people want to learn more on any of the stuff we talked about today, how can they do so?
I encourage everyone to visit our website at datcp.wi.gov. We have hundreds of resources to help you make sure you're aware of all the things you need to look for before jumping into a warehouse.
All right, Michael, thank you so much for answering all the tough questions today. We appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you real soon.
Thanks, Jeremy. Looking forward to it.
All right, Department of Trade Consumer Protection, check the website out. Do some reviews too. They have some great information on contracts that I personally reviewed for my own stuff, and it's good information. So check it out, and always do that homework before you get into any contract or involved in anything. It's just so important. We'll take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.